Hi, this was also watching the recording. So last week we started ITIL version 3. We looked at information security policy. It's about, we did small exercise a few weeks ago when we did short, simple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 password and then break it in half seconds, and we did more extensive passwords and it was harder to break. Actually, many stuff like that you can put to information security policy. By it, you can manage your organization. We looked at example last week. If we have metal mining, and they have production plant doing the metal objects, and in exam we put question, what is SAP? For example, what is SAP? SAP will be ERP system, accounting system. And in typical mining company in Kazakhstan, you have some product, cargo, or metals moving, and it's people steal it. Then what you can do as IT manager, CIO, you need to put some control. You put in information security policy that, for example, nobody should log in without some approval or whatever, log into some video monitoring system. It can be different cases depending on the context. In this case, they have cameras, but camera don't see any theft. This is nonsense. Probably somebody log into this camera, make delete recordings, and nothing left. So you can control it by putting in information security policy that nobody can do changes without manager approval, and it should be some email. Things like that, anything depending on the context. And we also considered all flow of materials saved in big ERP system, accounting system, and big corporations, for example, SAP. So we should know at least the name of this because we cannot practice it, it's too big. That was one of the topics. Next one, we look at change management. We look how you should control unauthorized changes to the systems. This is all part of basic ITIL. Change management. Change management. Telecom company. It has some base stations. It's collecting so-called CDR, call details record. We will also put this question in midterm. What CDR? It's called details record. It contains data about mobile subscriber calling, data traffic, mobile number. This is the basis for getting all the data later. It's brought to billing system. Billing. In billing system, you store usually how many hours or gigabytes your customer consume and how many you can earn from this customer. Okay, so this is short, brief description, but we go deeper. My friend, he was, until last week, he was CIO of Almaty City, chief of IT in Almaty City. And basically, question to you, if you are CIO of Almaty City, you are actually doing the management of this IT city, city's infrastructure. Sergek, you know, Sergek camera, they control speed, they control cars, and Akim Mayor comes to you and he asks, change all Sergek, every Sergek change to other camera. You have 10 days and money, no problem. Tell me how much money you need, how many budget I will provide. But please change it. So the question is to you, as a CIO, as a manager, why I should say no? This is impossible. Why impossible? Any ideas? Interface change all cameras. Impossible because we have this change management. In our example with cameras, it's so typical. Even cameras, but different. You know, we have apartment complex, жилой complex, and some we have security, several people working. They have cameras working, but they make somebody steal bicycles, and they say, actually, this is a different example. I'll tell it a bit later to story. So for Sergek, change management has two components. First one, actually I put it here, approval board, approval board. So it's about if I take off Sergek, then what happens? I don't know. I need to, before allowing Akim to change even one camera, I need to, because it's responsibility, it's working in production, I need to assess impact. What happens if this changed? Maybe whole system in city stop working if one camera gone. Maybe some payments, Strafe penalty will be calculated wrong, or nothing happens. So in ITIL, that's why they put the process. Change management starts from not just somebody, some manager, somebody approved. Usually it's several people have a so-called board, and they assess change one Sergek or change all of them, what's the impact? And then they say, yes, you can change or you cannot. But actually, I like the process because people look. Actually, how I control if I have 1,000 Sergek? What is the base? From what you would start basically at least controlling your Sergeks in city. You would start like you have here paper and pen. You would write a list, just list all Sergeks where their address. And here we also in universities they control students by putting list in WSP. Just make a list. List saying camera. Actually, I saw even this list. They have address, camera, address, some maybe IP address, also some type of camera, etc. Just a list like this. This is the second part of change management. In ITIL, it's called configuration management database. It's called configuration management. I put it like this. Configuration management. Configuration management. Database. This official term, it can be even just any Google Sheet list. If you have data, and actually they link. Now I can assess. Now these guys who approve change, they can assess. If I change camera on Ablai HANA, usually it has also some link to which services this is linked. Only actually configuration management, why it's important? Because I think who do software engineering, you heard about GitHub. Actually, how GitHub works? Can anyone draw scheme? Who draw, if you want, I can put 5 points. Maybe you can draw in there or this. Because how it works, it's very interesting. Our whole software engineering started from, actually software engineering is really was just a conference of some NATA in Germany, and they were discussing how to control this configuration management, not only hardware, also software, and how to control this project management of this deployment. And then GitHub appeared, several other things to control. But even in GitHub is also change management tool. It can control releases. You actually, if you deploy new software release, I put like this. If you deploy new software release in GitHub, it will not allow you to deploy it instantly. It will have to pass some check, so you commit, and then some other person can take it, merge it. If you are alone, you can commit and merge yourself. This is just another example of this stuff, change management. Let me take my look at my notes. CMDB. Okay, so key things to remember. What is the configuration management database? It's just a list of your assets, your hardware, software, anything. First, before controlling it, you put it to some document. And we will put it also in midterm, this question, what is configuration management database? So moving next. Actually, so ITIL 3, this is all its operations. ITIL 3, it covers operations. When you manage infrastructure or manage new releases, this GitHub, GitLab, now it's also done by automated, like DevOps stuff. So it's a little bit standard. It's not, you cannot impress anyone if you know this. They put also large so-called, how is it called? Service value chain or something. And here they put demand. I just wanted to say one important thing I wrote down yesterday, but I actually forgot. Sorry. Yeah. So this will look next time on the next lecture, because this is service value chain. It covers the software engineering process. How to manage software engineering. And it starts with demand. It's a problem. Define some problem, usually some stakeholders come to you. And this is our job, to work with so-called stakeholders. They give us problems, we create user stories from these problems. Things can be, you sit in a meeting with some businessman who pays you money for project, or some marketing PR director, and they ask you, what is digital? Can you explain what is digital? Who can explain what is digital? Why we call digital? So you have to explain this to this stakeholder, that this is because process is automation comes from 1 and 0, it's only 2 digits, That's why we call digital product. Stakeholder can tell you things like this: Akim, change in 10 days or ZDEC. And your job as a manager here on this part, before allowing changes to this hardware or writing some new code, you talk to him, you explain that we have this change management, we need to assess, this will be impact. So partially the role of being IT manager, project manager, product manager is talking to these stakeholders and explaining them things that for you basic, for them they don't know nothing about it. So this is one of the skill set for work of manager in digital industry. So just to here we fix for also midterm, we will put this discussion about stakeholder management and we will put definition. And in the ops, we didn't discuss one thing important, because core ITIL consists of information security policy, change management. So change management we covered, we discussed. If you didn't quite get it, you can watch recording, or you can also ask next lecture some detalization. Actually, next lecture I think midterm, maybe. And so questions will prepare this week. And number 3 is so-called service desk. Service desk. It's here. This is part of ITIL version 3 because software engineering is ITIL version 4. I think version 4 will look already after the midterm. If you have questions, comments via recording, you can also ask questions in this YouTube video. We will answer. Okay. The service desk, actually, too much pain. Who have had problems with bank? Some bank, you write to the bank and no response. Yeah, I also, many people do. And if you, who has bank account, for example, in England or Dubai, if you have or if you open there, they don't even have technical support because a lot of population, 90 million people write to them, they cannot answer. So this is a problem because it's also your area of responsibility. If you're CTO, CIO, you're in charge of service desk, not in charge, but it's related to software, hardware, break. And people don't know what to do. They write to service desk. Maybe per day, why lecturers here at university, they don't answer to your messages? Because per day they have maybe 100 messages. No, not 100, but 50 messages. And if in business you have per day like 50,000 messages to service desk, and you only have, for example, 2 people answering this. So this don't work if you just put it as it is. That's why ITIL suggests to do two parts, 3 parts actually. Incident management. Incident management. It's when you receive some request for some bug. You basically register, you just register it in some system. So nobody forgets that you received it. And you investigate, you solve it. If you receive the same similar bug next time, and again after 1 week, it's another process. It's called problem management. You also record it, but you not only solve, you need to find root cause. Why this is breaking? Because this is recurring big problem. And this is separate processes. Even some separate people work there. Yeah, it's obvious, but it's like this. And there is number 3. Number 3 is my favorite. DRR. Disaster recovery. DRP, actually, sorry. Disaster recovery. So disaster recovery plan. This is official term as well. You know, iPhone or Android fall to toilet, and iPhone fall to toilet. All pictures disappear. It's possible. I know people who did this. You put your phone into water and it disappears. This is disaster. If you don't have your photos or contacts stored somewhere in cloud or on paper, it disappears. We saw this Google Cloud, AWS, data storage. Data disappears from them as well. It's a problem. Last year, I think WSP collapsed and some data disappeared. Emails. My data disappeared here. Very angry. People were very angry if this happened. That's why in big banks, what they do? They have disaster recovery plan. Often it's a part of. We started off from CMMI. CMMI capability maturity model. It's from 0 to 5. 5 is a big mature processes in IT company. You can have customers from US, Europe, if your processes are 5 level maturity. It's maturity audit for IT companies. So they demand you have disaster recovery. You serve to Raiffeisen Bank or you serve to some First Abu Dhabi Bank. If your server crash or water put on it, and if the customer data of Abu Dhabi Bank, 10 million rich people collapse, what is your plan? What is your plan to recover disaster? In banks, I know, I saw everywhere in banks the same. Banks, the banking systems. They have. We do backups, like on our phones we do backups. In banks, they have 3 types of backups. Daily data, daily, weekly, monthly. So daily they just store some on some system database. Weekly they also store to, for example, some data warehouse. And it's a lot of data. If it's a bank, it's not just terabyte. It's transactions of customers. You can have 5 million customers. Everybody is doing some operations. For example, per day, you use Kaspi. You use several times, 5 times at least. And like this, 5 million people do it every day, 10 million. So all this you do backup every day. And then you also do another backup every week. And where to store? If we know, I don't know, who has flash card? Who has old flash card, USB?
Да, USB, сейчас.
Yeah, I mean, do you use 5-year-old USB card?
Yes.
You use? Who use?
We go.
For your golf? It works?
Yes.
Let's talk about after 2 years. Probably after 2 years it will stop working because this is material, silicon, creamy. It's with time it's just become bad. If you have old notebook, this notebook is 2 years old, 2 years before it was fresh, super quick. Now it's a little bit sinking slow. Because not only a lot of, although I clear memory, it's because the silicon, the board getting old and it's getting worse. Same USB card, actually storage guaranteed 5 years, no more. Then next year it can disappear. CD-ROM is have 20 years. And this computer, magnetic tape it has inside, hard disk. It's like 8-10 years. After this, data can disappear because it's related to magnetic field. And what do in banks if we need to store data for 20 years? Terabytes, I don't know even how to describe 1,000 terabytes. What is your ideas? What they do? They store to there's a big like wardrobe. Actually, it's like magnetic tape. It's not. It doesn't look like this. It's like разрез from the. It's actually look like this from the. But it's like old cassettes. They store it to magnetic tape, and it's recorded very slowly. It's like almost analog. They put digital data to this magnetic tape, and this can be stored 20 years, no problem, 30 years, but it's stored in 0101 format, and you cannot just put it like flash card here and read it. You have to recover, get some back transformation, and this is part of disaster recovery plan. You also have how to know customer ITIL transaction for October 5. For example, we have some dispute, and I request bank to get it. How they will get from here ITIL? It's maybe somewhere here. Any ideas? We discussed change management, configuration managed database. It's also written in some list. They have some CMDB file. It don't have to be called this way, CMDB. It's just maybe Google Sheets or some Excel or some database query. So the idea is to have everything recorded, and you record every component. They will have here actually recorded like this server number 2, October data. They will call it like this. So they don't know ITIL, but they know that I need data for October, and they will see in the CMDB that October data is stored at server number 2. That's how you manage huge data amounts, and that's the job of CIO. And again, why we talk about paper documents? Because in this small process, you have department working. You have information security guys, you have service desk, sysadmins, you have software engineers. You cannot, if you are CIO in bank, 20 people, cannot manage everybody. So how you manage? On paper, you create some policy. It can be called either disaster recovery plan. You could include it either to this procedure for your service desk or for your information security policy. Doesn't matter much, depends on you. But important, you do some document, and then you put it there. And then, now you can manage. Now you can have some control. So all these concepts will be in ITIL version 4. They are migrated, and nowadays they are linked to DevOps. If you don't have this, it means your IT company, startup, has low maturity. low-level maturity. And this is the foundation. In my company in Europe, even we serve to transportation companies and we don't store personal data, we still require to keep all the records for 2 years. If somebody requests from European Union, you have to provide. Otherwise, it's called GDPR in Europe. GDPR law. And they have fined $500,000. If you fine for you, you should pay. If he requests some old data about the customer and you don't have it, it's called GDPR compliance. Today we don't have it, luckily, in this country, so it's easier. But if you serve Europe, it's there. If you serve US, I think you also have some compliance. That's why we protect ourselves by doing these policies and documents. And that's the essence. Yeah. So that's it, basically. If you have questions, type here. I will just stop recording. This will be in midterm.